So as we've already discussed, the software has provided us with a best fit design over the top of the sampled surface, which we can choose to begin to work with, or we can choose to remove entirely and start from scratch, which is what we're going to be doing now. To remove the design, we can click on the Delete All IPs button found on the Home ribbon. So go ahead and click on that now. You'll get a warning saying, do you really want to delete all of your IPs from the design? And we're going to say yes. And you'll be left with an IP at the start, sitting on top of the sampled surface, and then an IP at the end, again, sitting on top of the sampled surface. You'll never be in a position where you can have no IPs on top of a string. You'll always have a minimum of 2. So what we're going to do is to start to manually add some IPs onto the profile. So when we did the grading string module, we actually added IPs by clicking onto the plan, whereas we're going to be using the profile tools. To start off with, we're going to go to the Add IP button and click on that. And then all we need to do, and you'll actually see the prompt down the bottom of the vertical grading editor, is actually click somewhere on the profile to add a new IP. So we're going to do this by clicking somewhere near Chainage 80, approximately near the sampled surface. And as soon as we do that, we'll get the Add IP tool being shown. So where it says Chainage, it's taking the exact chainage from where we've clicked, so we might round that number off to 80. We're provided with a level or an elevation, and again we can revise this if we want to. We might just make that 26.75, followed by a vertical curve length. So if you do not want a vertical curve length, you're always going to be having a curve length of 10 mil. In this example, we'll have a 50 meter curve. Once we've done that, let's click OK. And that's now been added into the profile for us. We're going to add 3 more. So the next one we're going to be adding is around Chainage 190. So again, we're going to take the same process by clicking somewhere near the sampled surface at around Chainage 190. Going to move the form in, revise the number to 190. We're going to simply, again, just round that number up to 37.25. We're going to apply a different vertical curve length this time, so we're just going to put 25. And then we're going to click OK. The next one we're going to add is going to be around Chainage 300. Now, rather than going back every time and clicking on the Add IP button, you'll notice that we're still running the Insert New IP tool, so we don't actually need to go back to the ribbon and do this. We're going to go to close to Chainage 300, repeat the same process. And again, don't worry too much if your IPs are going into a different location or you're putting in slightly different values, because in a minute we're going to be looking at how we can manage them once you've created them anyway. So we're going to type in 300, we're going to revise down this number, and then put a vertical curve length of 50, and then click OK. Then the last one we're going to be adding in is around Chainage 500. Again, close to the sampled surface. Going to revise the chainage. We're going to just round this number up, 38.3, and put a vertical curve of 50. Once we've done that, we're going to click OK. So now we've created these IPs, now we're going to look at how we can manage them. Now, to stop running the command, if it is continuing to run and you're left clicking and adding in new IPs, you can just simply press escape. And as you press escape, you'll notice that the command line down at the bottom of the VG screen will no longer be adding in extra IPs.